What's up guys, Balmont here. So, with Dracula X, today our journey through each title contained in the excellent Advanced Collection comes to an end. And I'm very glad to say that it was exactly the Advanced Collection that made me start monetizing my channel. Now, in case you haven't watched the previous videos or would like to one-shot them all, I'll leave the link for a playlist right now. There's even a card trick for Circle of the Moon, so make sure to watch them. Shrouded in controversy and a very divisive title among Castlevania fans, Dracula X was subject of both praise and heavy criticism, and I'll tell you all about it. And all I ask in return is that you hit that like button and subscribe. So ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I give you the final title contained in the Advanced Collection, Castlevania Dracula X. Out of every Castlevania game ever released after Lords of Shadow, I believe it's safe to say that Dracula X was the title under most scrutiny immediately after its release. And with good reason. It was supposed to have been a part of its Demon King brother, Rondo of Blood, a game that's held in extremely high regard both by PC Engine owners and Castlevania fans up to this very day, myself included. Porting the almighty Rondo of Blood to the Super Nintendo in a 1-to-1 ratio would have been impossible. From the CD's soundtrack to its intricate animations and level designs, Rondo of Blood was just too much to fit accurately into one cartridge. So, the developers took a different route. Instead of making a poorer version of Rondo, they chose to preserve certain key aspects like enemies, bosses, multiple paths, and of course our dear Richter Balmont, all while creating a game that felt very little like its source material. Now, many were disappointed at this, but I particularly like this decision. Even though it ended up not being a real part of Rondo of Blood, we got an interesting title in its own right. So don't come into Dracula X thinking you're gonna be playing the Game Gear version of Mortal Kombat 2, god no. Seriously, that thing was so terrible it gave grown men nightmares. Let me know in the comments if you ever had the displeasure of playing that atrocity. I sure did, and I'm pretty sure that a part of my soul died in the process. Now, I want to make something clear. This isn't a comparison video, so I won't spend the entirety of this video going back and forth between Dracula X and Rondo of Blood. What I'm here to show you is what Dracula X ultimately offers the player. I'll only touch upon the PC Engine masterpiece when talking about concepts and assets Dracula X got from it. From the outset, Dracula X is one of the prettiest looking games I've ever seen in the Super Nintendo. This game has very elegant color selections for its sprites and backgrounds. From the raging inferno in stage 1 to the beautiful waterflow level, you're more than likely to pause a beat every now and then simply to admire the graphics. Even though some backgrounds are downright lazy like this one, the vast majority of them is very worth looking at. And speaking of admiring, with various tracks from Rondo of Blood very well converted to the Super Nintendo sound chip, Dracula X has one of the best sounding OSTs in the entire franchise. So much that, as I scripted this video, I left the Advanced Collection open in its music player and listened to Dracula X soundtrack on repeat. I particularly love the rendition of Bloody Tears we got in this game. As a matter of fact, as soon as I have the time, I'll start recording some covers for you guys, Castlevania related and otherwise. And yes, the Tragic Prince is coming. And now, speaking about the gameplay, even though the overall gameplay mechanics feel slightly different from Rondo of Blood, Richter plays pretty much like his PC Engine counterpart. From pure sub-weapon usage to item crushing, it's all here, backflip included. And to me, what always made Richter stick out from his Balmont brethren was precisely his sub-weapon usage. He throws them with sheer fury. One dagger? No, have 3 at once. And there's no throwing holy waters like you're throwing people their car keys. Richter throws them straight on the ground, making it much quicker and reliable when thrown from bigger distances. Not to mention the item crushing skill. While you do spend more hearts than you normally would, crushing an item generates devastating effects, which will save your life more than once. However, Dracula X has one, I'm not gonna say feature, but has one aspect that always made me laugh ever since I played this game for the first time many years ago. I mean, really, just listen to this. I mean, this doesn't sound powerful, it sounds stupid. I love it. And hey, let me know in the comments your favorite Balmont. The developers also made sure to include a few multiple paths, both in the same stage and alternate versions of them. This feature, inherited from Rondo of Blood, is a nice touch that offers some variety, albeit not as robust as its older brother presents us. And just like in Rondo, you can also save Maria and Annette, with the exception that in here Maria never becomes playable. So yeah, tough shit, Richter. You're on your own. And there's also a good variety in terms of minions and bosses as well. I love the Cerberus boss battle at the end of stage 1, and the very weird looking Carmilla in stage I forgot. And another interesting factor Dracula X has that's worth mentioning is its difficulty. Yes, although a Classicvania, Dracula X is no slaughterhouse like say Castlevanias 1 and 3. Now, I'm not saying you will one-shot the entire game, but its difficulty is very manageable. However, if push does come to shove, you always have the handy rewind function the Advanced Collection presents us. Who's laughing now, assholes? Huh? Not so funny anymore, is it? However, Dracula X does have a few downsides. From a gameplay point of view, the stages feel somewhat short and empty at times. Certain parts give you that distinct impression that you're playing an early build of the game where they're still, testing assets and enemy placement. While it surely has very good moments and strong points, once you beat it, you may very well get the feeling of, wait, that's it? Even with alternate stages, that is probably gonna happen. And the biggest and most glaring problem that Dracula X has is, Dracula himself. Or rather, the stage for the last fight. In his first phase, he'll do his signature moves. Teleport and then either shoot 3 fireballs or those darker fire orbs you all know too well. The problem here is that someone thought it would be a very good idea to make it all happen on top of columns and not on a regular floor. And also, this does make me wonder, does Dracula sit all day, actually night, on his throne staring at a pit? I mean, really, that's what he came up with. I'm gonna put a giant pit in front of my throne, so I have nothing to look at. And if you start chasing him through the arena, this battle will become one living hell. A little bit of advice though. If you're ever about to get hit and are near a pit in this game, crouch. You'll still take the hit but negate the knockback. The best way to go about this battle is to simply crouch around here and wait for Mr. Ashatula to show up within striking distance. And for God's sake, bring the axe. But there's still another problem. Of course there would be. Your attacks do very little damage at a time, turning this into a tedious waiting game. Really, the first time I actually hit him, I thought, wait, maybe this was a strong point, maybe there's a weak point for me to hit him and do more damage. No, this is what you're gonna get. And once he goes into phase 2 though, just axe him to death. It's very, very quick, it's almost stupid. And as previously stated, I mentioned Rondo of Blood very few times, and that was on purpose. My goal here was to show you what Dracula X has to offer. And since this game is so different from its older brother, I felt it was only fair to do so. And now, for the final verdict. As a standalone game, even though it has some quite literal shortcomings and is far from being the best Classicvania ever, with its beautiful presentation, amazing soundtrack, fun bosses, non-hellish difficulty, and a few different paths that you can take, Dracula X is still an enjoyable experience I definitely recommend anyone looking for some Castlevania games, earning it a good 7 out of 10. And I have a very special announcement to make. This month, I'll be bringing you Alan Wake Remaster. As a longtime fan of Remedy Entertainment, I've been looking for an excuse to make a video about one of their games for the longest time. I ended up missing the deadline for the Colossal Control's 2nd anniversary due to my work, but I'm definitely not letting Alan Wake slip through my fingers. Oh no. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I'd like to thank my brother Felipe for getting me this amazing game. Along with my mother, he's been my biggest supporter from day 0. So thanks a lot, brother. And so, our journey through the excellent Advanced Collection ends. But we're not done with Castlevania games. I won't chain them one after the other, but rest assured, you'll be seeing a lot of Castlevania around here. Starting with Dawn of Sorrow, which I'm already shooting. I'll even bring you guys Lords of Shadow, and no, it will not be a slam fest. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Download out.